We have a lot of information now. The information is actually showing us things that should give us more reason to stay calm and go about our lives.
Because of the fact that this New Yorker took early action, and we know that there's currently no indication that it's easy to transmit by casual contact, there's no need to do any special anything in the community. We want New Yorkers to go about their daily lives, ride the subway, take the bus, go see your neighbors.
This should not stop you from going about your life, should not stop you from going to Chinatown and going out to eat. I'm going to do that today myself.
The important thing for New Yorkers to know is that in the city currently, their risk is low and our city preparedness is high. And so we know that this virus can be transmitted from one individual to another, but that it's typically people who live together, that there's no risk at this point in time, we're always learning more, about having it be transmitted in casual contact, right? So we're telling New Yorkers, go about your lives, take the subway, go out, enjoy life, but practice everyday precautions.
Willie, 8.6 million people here. We have 25 cases as of this morning, and we care deeply about each of those individuals, but against the backdrop of 8.6 million people, and for the vast majority of New Yorkers, life is going on pretty normally right now, and we want to encourage that. Look, we've got to look out for people here, especially those who are over 50 years old and have pre-existing conditions like lung disease, heart disease, cancer, diabetes. These are the folks we really, really need to be careful for. But if you're under 50 and you're healthy, which is most New Yorkers, there's very little threat here. This disease, even if you were to get it, basically acts like a common cold or flu.
The projection models are just that. They are models of projections. They're not necessarily definitive, but it's the only device that we have to plan, right? Follow the data, follow the data, follow the data. The actual hospitalizations have moved at a higher rate than the projected models, than all the projected models.
And the reality is that what we're seeing right now in our emergency rooms is dire. Last week when I went to work, we talked about the one or two patients amongst the dozens of others that might have been a coronavirus patient. This week in my shift yesterday, nearly every single patient that I took care of was coronavirus, and many of them extremely severe. Many were put on breathing tubes. Many decompensated quite quickly. There is a very different air this week than there was last week. And quite honestly, think about the fact that our first New York City case was on March 1st. That's just over 3 weeks ago.
The problem here, Joe, is, as you've been saying, is New York has become the epicenter, and we're not even near the peak. And if we're going to use the biblical language, I saw the president say yesterday that Easter is special to him. Well, he needs to know the whole Easter story. You cannot get to Easter Sunday without first going through the crucifixion on Friday. A crucifixion precedes the resurrection, Mr. President, and we have not even got up Calvary's mountain yet to the crucifixion. We just have the cross on our back. We are going to go through a real crucifixion, a real height in this pandemic in New York.
It's going to be with us for months. Probably more than half of all New Yorkers will be infected with this disease. Thank God for the vast majority. It will be a very limited, mild experience, but for a lot of other people, it's going to be really tough. And we're going to lose some people. And our job is to make sure that we save every single New Yorker we can. We're all going to have to work together to do it. Every one of us.
We're also, as you know, building numerous hospitals and medical centers throughout certain areas in New York. It's at the convention center, the Javits Convention Center. We're doing 4 hospitals, and we're doing throughout the state 4 medical centers there, somewhat different. I want you to know that I'm doing everything in my power to help the city pull through this challenge. I'm working very hard in New York. It's really by far our biggest problem. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. But there's a lot of good, capable people working on it with us, and our teams are working very well with the state representatives.